Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Beautiful Me. It's the Truth Observatory, and I assume you're here to observe some truth. So, by all means, let me speak some motherfucking truth. I'm going to talk about karma today and what it is. 'Cause there's a lot of stuff happening in the world that's kind of fucking frightening. Donald Trump, his whole, charade in general. Syria started bombing them, killing people. Could be the start of something big. Could just be another thing that gets repeated. Like I believe we did this a couple of years ago. Nothing could come from it. Otherwise, either way, we're kind of living on edge. Anyways, karma. Let me cast out some words like a net into this empty void to try and grab hold of some of this nonsense that is happening and try and make some sense out of nothing, because it is nonsense right now. And I'll start by saying a good ass quote. I was watching Cloud Atlas last night. Here's what he said. Here's what they said. Our lives are not our own. From womb to womb, we are bound to others, past and present, and by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future. Interesting. So what they're kind of saying is, each crime and every kindness, we birth our future. Where is kindness? You can't touch kindness. You feel kindness. Crime is kind of an action, and you can be kind to people. That is an action. But what I really think they're saying is, every time we have a thought of a goodness, a thought of goodness, a thought of love, it acts like a seed into the reality. And it attaches us. It digs roots into reality. And it holds on to us. And as this kindness or this crime continues to grow and unfold and the seed begins to germinate, we, what do they say? We reap what we have sown. We reap what we have sown, right? So let's take this onto a bit of a more grandiose level, because people don't want to admit their crimes, and sometimes they're embarrassed of their kindnesses. But I'll tell you right now, you're a very loving and a very cruel being. And the more you can distinguish those within yourself and decide when you want to be cruel and when you want to be kind, it's proves for a much better harvest, if I will. Yeah. Proves for a much better harvest. So let's take that a step beyond. Let's turn it up a notch. What the fuck is going on in the world? Syria? God bless all those lost souls. Donald Trump? God bless that dude. He's fucked. I mean, Donald Trump is just an expression of our karma. Okay? Karma isn't necessarily what goes around comes around, although that is definitely something that is true. We should probably have a different word for it, because the original meaning of karma has been severely manipulated. Maybe not manipulated, but it kind of got modernized and westernized into something totally different. So the original, so karma, what goes around comes around. That's true, because we're all connected. We've all got our aura. In our aura, we can really call it a thought a thought sphere, or somebody said to me the other day, a thoughtmosphere, like an atmosphere, but thoughts. And this is what is continually being cycled through us. They say 90% of the shit that goes through our head is not an original thought. It's something recycled, something we thought about before, something we pushed out of our heads, and now it's coming back to cycle through again. Anybody that's taken a bunch of mushrooms or acid can tell you that. You're like, oh, I'm stuck in a loop, man. I think I've said that before, actually. But yeah, that's one of the things that mushrooms will tell you, is that you're going in circles. And it's true, life is cyclical. And I think that's like, to diverge from the topic of karma for a second, I think that that is certainly a tool we can use to, you know, put thoughts into other people's thoughtmospheres, other people's auras, so that way you can focus your intent on an individual. You want to send them some love. You want to send them, you know, an idea, a message. You want to tell them to think about you at a certain time, or something along these lines. You want to give them something that you could say with words or a letter, but you'd rather meditate for 15 minutes with an intent. It's really loud outside. I hope you can't hear all that. What is that? Anyways, sounds like somebody's dragging metal trash cans down the street behind their car. It's getting louder. What the fuck is going on? It's a grill. Shut up! Jesus! Just kidding. Not. Where was I? It's fucking gone. We can put things into people's thoughtmospheres. We can send them an intent, and then it will go into their little sphere of being, and it'll cycle through them. We can do the same thing for us. You can speak something into reality, have the intent for it to come back to you. Say, all right, I want to remember this again when I need it. Just put it out there. It's like a seed. You're speaking it into existence. Abracadabra, Hebrew for as I speak, so I create. It'll come back to you. You have to focus on it, though. It's not like just a fleeting, oh, hello. Alright. It's not like, I'm going to remember this. It's like, sit down for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, focus on it, get up, come back to it, and if it's something you want to remember in a week or a month later, throughout the week, you know, after you've made the root intention, you've buried the hole and dug the seed and covered it up with dirt, every, like, you know, 2, 3, or 4 times a day, come back and water the hole and just remember, reconnect yourself to that point in time where you were thinking about that. So this works in the way of like healing people too. When people are, you know, they can use healing, and you can sit down and you can meditate for 15 minutes, sending them loving, positive, light energy, and then throughout the day, periodically, just remember, all right, I healed her. Yep, she got the energy. That's it. That's all I got to do. So I took like a actual class on this with Tom Campbell, like a week-long intensive course. It's really fucking incredible. I love that dude. He is a man of wisdom and patience, I must say. Moving on, karma. We've all got this thoughtmosphere. All our thoughtmospheres are connected in this atmosphere. People are like at most fear in this world, right? People are freaking out about what's happening. But what they don't understand is that this is really, you know, this is our own fault. We create reality, right? Who else is creating reality? I mean, we didn't create the design of the trees and the birds and all that shit. Yes, I know. And there will be people out there calling me fucking an idiot. They're like, well, you can't take credit for creating reality. Who made oxygen particles? Like, shut the fuck up. Obviously, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this table, this fucking notebook, this shirt is all an artificial construction made by humans within the tool set, within the playground, within the virtual reality that we exist in. So we're forming things, right? Not only that, we're forming our social institutions. We're forming our all these artificial archetypes that exist within our mind, like the education system. I guess that's kind of an institution. Like what it means to be a child, what it means to be an adult, what it means to be mature, what it means to like be these different aspects of self, to express yourself. These are all really artificial things. There's language itself is an artificial construct. So every time you try and define something as opposed to just being something, expressing something, then it's in a sense artificial. But don't really focus on that too much, because then you're just like, oh my god, everything's fake. What do I do? Because fuck all that. That's kind of a blind fuck. But you see, I hope you see where I'm coming from. I hope I'm being clear in that. So what other artificial archetypes, thought forms, ideas, concepts are out there that are kind of fucking us over, right? We believe, I don't believe, but thousands upon millions upon hundreds of millions, potentially billions of people out there believe that we need a government. They believe that the IRS is something that our civilization needs to thrive so that we can be able to be afforded things like roads and orphanages and everything that taxes pay for, right? People believe we need taxes. They're like, if you're not going to pay taxes, how are we going to stick together? How are we going to thrive? How are we going to be alive? Well, for one, this is a fallacy. I'm not sure which fallacy. There are so many fallacies out there. Ad hoc, post, blah, 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 whatever. And my neighbor's just walking across and she was looking at me talking to myself in here. It's pretty funny. This is a fallacy. You see, most of these hundreds of millions of billions of people are born and they're not taught the truth. They're not regimented the truth of who they are, aka as a spirit. They're not taught the truth of where they were before birth or what happens after death. This is something we're kept in most fear about. And these are the two polarities that we exist between when we are living in fear of death. Birth and death, okay? If you don't know what happens between these two polarities, then every decision you make between them is going to be based on uneasy foundation. Any decision that you make between these two events is going to be based in truth. It's going to be based at first on ignorance, and then somebody's going to say, oh look, that guy's ignorant. I can make him my slave. I can make him do whatever I want him to do for the betterment of me. And at that point, chattel slavery is born and civilization is born, right? Stratification is born. Culture is born. This is what we're defining as culture. Personally, I would define culture as, I would say we don't even have culture unless we are teaching people how to achieve a state of ecstasy and bliss without having to reach outside of themselves. However, this isn't the widely accepted version of culture that we all know and love. So when you're caught in between these polarities and you're making decisions and people are manipulating you, they start to tell you things like, hey, you're going to need this in order to be able to get by. You're going to need this in order to live. And these things are going to be like the draft or something. This is going to be like money. Like, how are we going to transact without money? Like, shut the fuck up. So many ways we could transact. Mainly just by bartering and trading and like being good human beings. But that's only, again, if you know the truth. If you don't know the truth, you're lost. And then your parents don't know the truth, and they have you as a kid, and they don't teach you the truth. They teach you the lies that they were taught, and it's the blind leading the blind in this perpetual cycle of death and reincarnation in this soul matrix. So when something like this begins to be born, people are like, holy shit, we need these systems that we have built. We need these artificial systems to keep ourselves alive. And they become so fucking attached to them, so embedded with this bullshit that it comes to a point when we got people who are known actors and liars, aka like TV stars. Donald Trump is an actor. Who was it, like Reagan or who? I wasn't Reagan. I forget his name, the head of the CIA, like ex-Hollywood actor of like 20 years or something. Like, they get so embedded in this shit that they think these people who are coming to be our president, rule over us, domineer over us, that we need them to be our leaders and to represent humanity as a whole. 300 million people being represented by 536. 535 of them being Congress. I don't know. And the 36th one being the president. I'm sure there's more people than that in the White House. Rough estimate. So now everybody believes we need this system of voting every 4 years. Like, we need to make a decision. We have free choice. You don't have free fucking choice. You have, all your options have already been laid out for you. You're not picking the options. This is why we need anarchy. Anyways, like, we're offered, Hillary Clinton, a proven liar, Donald Trump, a paid liar, actor, and we chose the paid liar actor because I don't fucking know why, because people are stupid, it feels like. And so now there's all this other shit going on in the world. There's conflicts going on internationally. What's really going on in Syria? I'm not sure. I know that Assad has got, a shit ton of resources over there. They're trying to make some sort of a lithium or an oil line pipeline going straight through to Israel. Assad's got his own economy going on over there, so that's like a red flag for the United States. Like, oh, isn't that why we took out Gaddafi? Motherfucker's trying to start his own currency, his own gold-based currency. Anyways, I don't really know the economy over there, but I know a couple little simple facts. So we got all this other shit going on in the world, and we believe we need this made-up system that we don't really need to be solving these problems for us because people don't feel that they're worthy to solve them. Anyways, these are all, what I'm getting at is that all this shit, Donald Trump, bombs in Syria, children dying in Palestine and Israel and Iraq and Afghanistan. My neighbor's staring at me again. Hello. Yeah. Anyways, we got all these people fucking dying, and it's only because we believe that that's the way it needs to be. We believe, I don't believe. That Beatles song? I don't believe in Jesus. Anyways, we believe that we need these systems that are maniacal in the fact that they take lives, innocent lives. Everybody's innocent, alright? That's just a fact, bro. Everybody's innocent. You would not do, if you were in my footsteps, in my place, in my perspective, with my parents, in my neighborhood, and my friends, and my school, and all that bullshit, you would be doing the same exact thing that I'm doing right now. And if I were in your shoes, or if I was in Stalin's shoes, or if I was in Trump's shoes, we'd be doing the same exact shit that they did and they are doing. Because that's just the way this reality works. If you believe something has to be a certain way, or if the majority does, then that belief manifests. And if we are only believing a part of, you know, like we're so caught up in this time that like, oh, we're learning from our mistakes and this and that, and we are, but like also like we can tell the future if we wanted to. We know the future. We know the deep past, further past than people care to admit. And if we did, if we used our consciousness to its fullest extent, we would then come into an understanding of, you know, the things we really need and the things we don't really need. But it's unfortunate that most people believe what they do, because that is what is causing such fucking strife in the world. So when you realize that your beliefs really create who you are, and our collective beliefs create what's happening in reality, then I think all these deaths that happen around the world become a little bit more personal, and you see that, okay, I need to man up, I need to woman up, I need to take my own life and everything that interacts in my life. Like, if you believe you need to go to Walmart to Farm Fresh to get apples, you know, you're contributing to this type of system that grows apples in Spain, sends them to South Africa to get shined by children, sends them back to Spain, they send them to America. If you believe you need to eat meat to live, you're contributing in this system that exports more meat out of the United States than it imports. It's degrading to the whole. I hope my music in the background isn't too loud. We believe we need all this shit, like, but if you get in and you start to change your belief system, experiment with what you believe. Like, you might start experimenting, you know, mentally. Mental experimentation. Just say, fuck it, that's not the way the world works. This is the way the world works. This is the way I work. And the universe just might start talking to you, trying to get your attention, say, hey dude, it doesn't really matter what you believe, but you believe really something, and you believe it in your core, in your heart, and it's going to tell you that, you know, it can be that way. So if you believe heaven can be on earth, and it's just a matter of willpower and belief among everybody, you should try and maybe start telling people, hey, we could have a heaven on earth if it wasn't for your dumbass, you know, thinking that Trump is not an actor. He's a real person. No, he's almost a figment of our collective imagination, but at the same time, he is our karma. Donald Trump is our karma. Syria is our karma. Children starving in Africa is our karma. Child slaves, and also in Africa, in the United Democratic Republic of the Congo, they are slaves. They're child slaves. They are our karma. So what else is your karma? Like, you know, you got to examine your own life. I can only really speak on personal aspects as well as, you know, collective aspects. But when it comes to you and your own life and figuring out, you know, how your karma, aka how your pseudo knowledge, your pseudo beliefs that aren't true to reality, like what is true to reality? There's some things that are true, like if we take physics for example, and we try and describe something a million years from in the past, we describe it through physics. That is true. If we describe it today using physics, that is true. So that is like a theory of truth that allows us to figure out what's real and what's not. But there are other means. Obviously, that's what this channel, the Truth Observatory, is about. learning how to expand your consciousness beyond any limitation. So once you realize that there is other means of developing a truth, then what you believe, what you know to be true, because at some point it turns from a belief into a truth. What you know to be true will start, it'll start changing reality. It'll start changing reality. The truth will set you free. So, I think I got it all. I don't want to go too long with this, but that's really what it's all about. You know, it's our karma. It's what is in your life, your life, your belief. You know, disregard the pseudo-knowledge, the cultural conditioning, the pseudo-beliefs. Develop a real truth that is fundamental and applicable to any point along the time-space continuum. And start to, you know, converge your life in on that timeline where you live in harmony with what is true to reality. And that way you don't have to go out and do these crazy rituals like the ballot or, you know, the voting, the polls. You don't have to go and contribute to the system, which is the beast. You don't have to go let the beast express itself through you, because it's ignorance. It's anicca in Sanskrit. Anicca. Look that word up. All this, everything that's happening in the world it's either a creation or it's all created, but some of it is an effect of our karma, of our false belief system manifesting itself in reality. And most of the time we develop these false belief systems out of fear. So we have fear is very dominant over the Earth system, over the Gaia system, but obviously there's something happening. Somebody planted a seed here in this earth, in this dirt. It's starting to germinate. People are waking up. People are ascending. People are realizing the truth of reality. Perhaps it's just that time. You know, technology has advanced. The internet has connected us all. It's only because we've been able to develop such crazy tools out of our false belief and false notions of how reality works that allows us to realize the truth. I mean, I can honestly say, excuse me, without the internet, you know, I would probably still be light years behind. Maybe not light years, but years behind. Anyways, that's it for today, you know. Examine your beliefs. What are you believing that is causing you misfortune in your life? What are you believing that makes you angry, that makes you upset? Why, like, capture yourself every time you say, well, that's just the way it is. Bitch, no, it's not. That's never just the way it is. Nothing is the way it is. The only fucking law in physical reality is that change is the only constant. I guess light is a constant too, but not really. Look that up. Light is not a constant. Light speed, that is. Change is the only constant, so change your fucking beliefs. See what you can make. On that note, guys, if you're still here, give you a round of applause. You sat through my monotonous, boring, nasally voiced tone. Just listen to me bitch about just bitching, dude. Sometimes you just need to let it all out. Help, let it all out. Anyways, love you all. God be with you. Fucking something deep about karma. Take it easy. See you next time at the Truth Observatory.